Well, hey there. Welcome to class, everybody. I'm the professor, and today we're going to be doing a very, very special unboxing today there. What we're going to be doing today, we're going to be talking about the greatest team of all time, the Bears. Can I get the Bears?
The Bears. The Bears.
Thank you very much there, boys. The super fans. Terrific guys. Now, today we're going to be doing a few things today in one hat here. We're going to be honoring the greatest player for the greatest team of all time, of the Bears. But we'll also be talking about the Ditka of hat makers. Now, Coach Ditka, Mike Ditka, the greatest coach in NFL history. Don't you argue with me about that there. Greatest coach in NFL history. And then also one of the greatest men alive, where if you take Coach Ditka versus a million men, who would win? Coach Ditka. It's not even a fair fight. If you took a hurricane versus Coach Ditka, I know you'd probably say Coach Ditka, but what if the hurricane was named Coach Ditka? Anyways, we'll talk about that over a steak dinner at Ditka's restaurant sometime there, eh? Today we're going to be talking about the Ditka, the greatest of hat making, which I have a very special hat from Mr. Mathis from Stash 1250, my first from that great store on Milwaukee Avenue, the greatest city in the world, Chicago IL. So, we're going to be doing a very special unboxing today, and I really hope that you get to enjoy this from a fan's perspective here, not as a hat collector. We here are super fans. We buy hats here. We get hats because of the primary reason, because we root for sports teams that are on the hat there. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to honor one of the greatest running backs of all time there, Walter Payton. So, before we get into the unboxing here, I want you to go grab some more beer for me. Going to be running out soon. Grab a beer for yourself. I'll go grab the Polish sausage and some baby back ribs off the grill for us to share. Today, we're going to be super fans. Get out a notebook, pen, and pencil because class is in session there, eh? Let's go!
You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do the Super Bowl shuffle.
Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like Mickey Moore Mance. We had the goal since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ. And we're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears are doing it to feed the needy. We didn't come here to look for trouble. We just come here to do the Super Bowl
Alright, so
shuffle.
I'm going to keep the whole thing going on here, but I'm not going to be talking in the super fan accent there. Super fan, kind of Wisconsin-ish, Chicago-ish accent. Not gonna do that for the rest of it. It's too much. I'm already congested. Getting through a cold here. I probably picked it from some customer during Black Friday weekend. But I had to do this the right way. Now, not only is this my first hero hat, my first Mathis hat, or just first Stash 1250 hat. This is the Bears one. This is really important. I gotta do it the right way. It can't just be, oh look, here's a hat. This looks really cool. No. We're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna do this to honor Sweetness himself, because this hat is based off of him. When I saw Mathis posts on Instagram, among all the other hero hats, that he had done practically every baseball hat out there. For me, there are plenty of hats. I mean, of course, the Cubs won because they had picked a certain player from each team. It stuck out as like a good model figure. For the Cubs, I remember it was Ernie Banks, pretty easy choice there. For the Braves, it was Hank Aaron. I want to say for the Brewers it was Paul Molitor. Anyways, I had never really gotten those hats. I mean, they were fantastic hats with what they did. Also, I'm going to be talking like really weird because I got a not only did I have a cold, I got a fake mustache on. Oh, by the way, it's fake. Ooh. And colors were great. The front logo was white on, you know, you'd think that like white on this kind of gold yellowish color wouldn't work, but it works so freaking well. And these are really highly coveted hats where you see them on eBay, you see them on other Facebook pages, you see them on Mercari, you see them on other Discord pages, on Instagram, and people are selling them for triple digits. 300, 400, 500, it's ridiculous. It's also probably upsetting that, you know, these hats are to honor these baseball players, you know, football player, and you're kind of degrading it with, you know, just selling it for exorbitant amount compared to, you know, someone like myself who, for sure the Cubs hat, or maybe the Orioles hat. I know my brother and I would probably give a good home to the Braves Hank Aaron hat. But, you know, that's the idea, I think, of hats where you should give them a good home. They're kind of like kids. You gotta give them a good home where they're gonna be at least appreciated. Do I wear all my 620 some hats all the time? No. I wear them every so often, but I care for them. There are some that I do appreciate them. He had met Walter Payton before, but he had, in this instance, I will put the link in the description down below that you have to go listen to it. You have to listen to it and leave a comment, because this really solidifies the idea of how great Walter Payton was, of not only a football player, of an athlete, but of a man. Something that you don't see too often nowadays with sports, not to like degrade, you know, current athletes that, like, you know, do make good role models, but just it's a different level of what Walter Payton did. And basically the sum of the story is, my dad was playing basketball with a bunch of his friends back when he was like 20 something, and he saw Walter Payton, you know, playing basketball as well, and they were playing a bit, and all the other guys went and were asking for autographs, and Walter's like, yeah, you know, go grab a piece of paper, go pen, you know, we'll give you an autograph then. My dad stuck around playing, basically shooting around with Walter Payton himself, Sweetness, the man himself, and had a conversation of a place called, I'm blanking on it now. This is really bad. He tells this story a lot. Showbiz Pizza, that's what it was, a precursor to Chuck E. Cheese. It's just a really, really awesome story about how Walter connected to people and would take the time with people. So I shared the story with Ty. He loved it. Asked me. I just wanted to share him, you know, to redefine, to reassert that this hat pack, this idea of heroes of sports, Walter is one of them, for sure. Maybe not just for the Bears, but for Chicago, for all of sports. So this will mean a lot. Gonna look weird, but I had to see this in person like this. This is fantastic. This is amazing. The colors of the crown itself, this Vegas gold, fantastic. The kind of like the shading in the white and the the Bears logo, the face logo, is great. I love using the navy brim and then the orange button. And on the back, Bears. On the side, Super Bowl 1985 champions. Green UV. This is fantastic. So, 7.5. Let's see how well it fits. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there. Gonna have to bend the brim a little bit, steam it up. But, you know, just as I was thinking that, you know, here I am in November, December. All right, I'm gonna, you know, start to rank my hats for the year. I got a pretty good idea, but nope. Ty Mathis does this one, this beauty. This is gonna be for sure top 10 of the year. This is for sure. No, this is great hat, great reason. I know that some other hat collectors did get special permission from Ty to get these hats. Originally, it was announced on Windy City Wednesday that the release was canceled because too many people were camping out for a raffle, or it had gotten canceled. Really, only a few people got these, so it feels more of an honor to have a hat like this. So thank you very much, Mr. Ty. This is truly special. I don't know what kind of history you have of watching Walter Payton, or what you know about him, but I mean, everyone knows that in Chicago, pretty much the Mount Rushmore starts with Walter and Michael Jordan, Walter Payton and Michael Jordan, and then after that, Ernie Banks, and then after that, you can kind of throw up a few names in the air, but for sure Walter, Michael Jordan, two big names. So I wanted to read off how, you know, great of a, you know, person he was, and kind of like watching some of his highlights in a way was watching The Last Dance when that came out originally. How I'm watching Jordan just go around the whole floor and make easy work out of the players on the floor there, and I'm like watching in awe, and my dad's like, yeah, that's how good he was. And then watching Walter Payton's highlights, just juking around, creating different angles, being a 3, if not 4-dimensional player, looking at every spot of the access point to get through. This is freaking amazing. He was, I mean, of course, like the numbers say one thing, but then watching the highlights, it's just incredible. So he played for Jackson State University, historically black university, college black university. Played there for 4 years, and he was drafted in 1975 as the 4th pick in the draft, first round. Played for 13 seasons, only for the Bears. And he was just phenomenal. So his highlight year was 1977, where he was MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Man of the Year, which is now renamed. That Man of the Year is now as like a kind of a higher regarded MVP status of great player on the field, off the field, community member, athlete, role model, is now Walter Payton Man of the Year. And he led the league in rushing touchdowns. Went to the Pro Bowl 9 times, first team All-Pro 5 times, second team 3 times, on the 75th and 100th anniversary All NFL teams, Hall of Fame in 1993, NFL College Hall of Fame in 96, historically black college university football Hall of Fame in 2010, and one of the few retired of the Bears, number 34. He is second time all leading in rushing yards. 16,726. Number 1 is Emmitt Smith. Number 2 is Frank Gore at a flat 16,000. He is ace overall in rushes per carry, yards per carry at 4.4. He is 5th all time with 110 rushing touchdowns, and there was about 9 other players that have over 100 rushing touchdowns. He has the second most carries, 3,838. He has the 5th most rushing yards in a single game. Against the Minnesota Vikings, 275 yards, 1 touchdown, 40 attempts, 6.9 yards per carry with the flu. Kind of familiar sounding, maybe to another Chicago athlete, by another Chicago athlete. The flu doesn't scare any Chicago player away. We don't do that. We don't do the flu around here. But one of the other things was how much of a blocker Walter Payton was, and how he put everything out there for not himself, but for his teammates, for everyone there, to make sure that the team was the best that it could be, that it could have those opportunities. Whether it be him making those angles, being that 4-dimensional rushing player, making the blocks to save McMahon's butt, or maybe another ball carrier's behind, especially Jim McMahon. Not one of the best quarterbacks in Bears history, but one of the more famous ones. Walter Payton is just synonymous as a top NFL player, just across the board. On the NFL YouTube page, it was back in 2010, he was number 5 on the top 100 players of all time. And he was dedicated. He played 190 games in 13 seasons. And guess how many games he missed? Just one. Just one. He was very dedicated. He was very humble to the players, listening to other interviews and how coaches, how Coach Ditka talked about him, how other players, his teammates, talked about him, or how other players would talk about him. The video of Emmitt Smith talking about how Walter Payton was his role model, his hero, and how much, how down to earth he was. And listening to his Hall of Fame speech, Walter Payton just talked about how, there are plenty of people out there that support one's individual career to be that great. That it wasn't because of him, it was because of people around him, of supporting, motivating him, people that he was able to learn from, that he was able to be a great player, a great person. The speech itself is great. Go have a listen. Towards the end, he talks about how he's been able to learn from a lot of players, even ones, because he was inducted in '93. He even talked about how he admired the work ethic, the great player of Pete Rose. Even though, as Walter said, he had one mistake, he was still able to learn from him. Even though he had that one mistake, he was still able, he wasn't going to take that away because of what he learned from Pete Rose. So he was a hero for many. He said in his speech that life is short, but it is sweet. And sweetness he was. He died relatively young. He was 46 when he died in South Barrington, Illinois. Died November 1st, 1999. Kind of a combination of colon cancer, but it was a rare liver disease. And watching some of the videos and knowing in the past what I've seen, not just in my research, building up to this video, but in years past, people saying negative things about Walter Payton and that he either did drugs or wasn't really the wholesome person that he really was, that people were doubting his image, which, how could you do that to a man like that? He was asking for prayers for those who support him, and for those who said otherwise, that God be with you, that God give you forgiveness for being slanderous to Walter Payton that way. So not only is he a Bears icon, he is an NFL, he's a Chicago, he's a sports icon through and through. He meant so much to so many people. So Walter Payton was the GOAT. He was the best of the Bears, of the NFL, of Chicago, of sports. He was the man of all. And it's kind of hard to so let's give a cheers to Walter Payton, to Sweetness, and to the Bears. He was a very great player, great man. He might have had a robbery. So this is a great hat to have. This is not only a good looking hat, but the reason behind it is perfect. Walter Payton was a great man. He was a great player. I don't know how he only has one MVP to his name in 1977, compared to the year that the Bears won the Super Bowl in '86. Even though he didn't get a touchdown in the Super Bowl, which is Ditka's biggest regret, he said before. There were 4 rushing touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, but none of them were from Walter. It's kind of a weird thing to think about, that the freaking linebacker, got a touchdown. Got before, had one despite Walter Payton being one of the greatest running backs of all time. So, I mean, besides that, you still have to think about how great of a player Walter Payton was, how he is just revered as a highlight for not just running backs, but for NFL players, football players, for athletes, just to admire the work ethic that he always had. Always wanting to do his best. And he lived in Arlington Heights, where there was a hill that's now a golf course called Walter's Hill, that my dad tells in the story, that he would run up there all the time. It was like a 50-60 yard hill, very steep climb, and he worked out there a lot, just to make sure that he was always in good shape, so he could be that opportunity maker for his team. So I want to give a big cheers to the Bears, to Mathis for making this hat and for shipping me this hat, letting me get the chance to get this hat, and to Sweetness, Walter Payton himself. Thank you very much for watching class today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And if you do get one of these hats, give it a good home. I'll see you next time in class, everyone. Class is dismissed. Bye, everyone.